The Reckoning of Captain Jasmine Wallace. 850 words. Unfinished ending. Step out of the car now, or I'll make you. The voice wasn't calm or professional. It was hostile, laced with something uglier than authority. Jasmine Wallace blinked up into the harsh Arizona sun. Her Mercedes SUV was parked neatly on a suburban street in Glendale, under a jacaranda tree. Engine off, seatbelt on. She'd just been texting her husband about Thai versus tacos for dinner. None of that mattered now. The white female officer at her window wore aviators and the smug authority of someone used to obedience. License and registration now. Jasmine's voice was steady. Is there a reason I'm being stopped? Suspicious behavior, the officer shot back. Got a call about a black female loitering, peeking into driveways. That ring a bell. Jasmine tilted her head. She wore a tailored charcoal pantsuit. Her badge was hidden under the blazer. You pulled me over for sitting in my car? The woman's eyes narrowed. Are you refusing to cooperate? With slow, deliberate care, Jasmine reached into the glove compartment. Across the street, a sprinkler sputtered to life. A dog barked, but by her window, the air froze. What's your name? Jasmine asked. Officer Kelly Maddox. And I be careful with that tone. You planning to search my car? Maddox leaned in, breath heavy with gum and arrogance. You bet I am. And if I have to strip search you right here, I will. There was not protocol, but power. Jasmine swallowed. Not fear, but focus. Then do it by the book, she said quietly. Maddox barked in her radio. Dispatch, code 6. Backup requested. Possible narcotics. Jasmine raised an eyebrow. You haven't even asked what I'm doing here. I don't need to. I can smell it on you. Weed. Coke. Whatever you people do. You people. The phrase landed like a slap. I'm stepping out, Jasmine said, voice low. Hands where I can see them. She obeyed. Her movements were clean, professional. Practiced. Maddox couldn't see it yet, but she'd already lost control. Pop the trunk, Maddox ordered. Jasmine pressed the release. The officer went rummaging like a raccoon, tossing aside grocery bags until she froze. Cocaine, she smirked, holding up a small plastic bag. Guess dinner's canceled. That's not mine. Tell it to the judge. Jasmine's gaze didn't move. You just made a very big mistake. Maddox scoffed. You think anyone will believe you? They won't have to. It's all being recorded. For the first time, the officer's smirk wavered. Body cam, dash cam, Jasmine continued. 2 more inside this vehicle. You're on private property. A silence fell, heavy and unnatural. Neighbors peeked through blinds. A delivery driver paused mid-step. Even the dog stopped barking. Then Maddox snapped. Take off your clothes. Jasmine didn't flinch. Search me, but do it legally. Maddox sneered. I'll have you in cuffs by sunset. Let's see how that badge of yours helps when... Jasmine cut her off. Still want me on my knees? In front of your dash cam. Maddox's jaw twitched. She doubled down, grabbing Jasmine's wrist. I said on your knees. Jasmine leaned in, whispering, You're making history, Officer Maddox. Just not the kind you'll be proud of. Maddox yanked open the driver's side door, furious. She barked in her radio, only for it to reply on its own. Unit 142, status check. What's your 10 to 20? She blinked. Field search in progress. Suspect is, under suspicion. Jasmine took a step forward. Still want to pretend you're in control? You think you're smart? You people always. There. The mask cracked. Jasmine reached into her inner jacket, slowly. Pulled out a badge. Gold. Internal affairs. Nameplate gleaming. Maddox staggered back. Wait, what? You're not just being watched, Jasmine said. You're being evaluated. This isn't fair. The heat of that Arizona street faded, but Jasmine's mind was still gripped by the cold clarity of purpose. Standing before Officer Maddox had only been the latest test, a test she trained for her entire life. He started on a cracked sidewalk in Georgia. Jasmine had been just 9, jelly beans in her hand and tears she wasn't allowed to shed. Her father, Marcus, was in handcuffs, sweat and shame staining his sanitation uniform, while a white cop paraded him like a thief. No charges, just humiliation, just a little girl watching dignity disappear. That night, she made a vow. They'll never look at me like that. And if they look at someone else that way, I'll make them regret it, that she'd kept that promise like a religion. By high school, Jasmine didn't just raise her hand to answer questions. She raised it to challenge injustice. She wore her natural curls like armor, joined debate to master confrontation, and studied the system not to follow it, but to master its every flaw. College sharpened her further. She majored in criminal justice, minored in psychology, and interned at a precinct that taught her more about corruption than any textbook. She saw how easily black boys became suspects, how complaints were jokes in locker rooms, and how authority cloaked abuse in paperwork. She reported an officer once. He was reassigned. Unrelated reasons, they claimed. But Jasmine had learned something vital. Power responds to proof, not protest. The academy didn't want her. Chip on your shoulder, they said. Steal, she replied. She graduated top of her class, a black woman in a sea of skepticism, her eyes set not on acceptance, but reform. By 42, she was Captain Jasmine Wallace of Internal Affairs. She didn't climb the ladder to belong. She climbed it to break it, then rebuild it. They tried to box her in, transferred her, isolated her. But Jasmine played the long game. While others smiled in meetings, she documented. While they cracked jokes, she collected patterns. Her office, tucked in a forgotten basement corner, became a war room. The first officer she took down had 18 years on the force and a dozen buried complaints. She unearthed the silenced footage, found the whistleblower they'd buried in paperwork, and made the case airtight. The officer was fired. Jasmine was relocated again, so she built a list. It started on Post-its, names, dates, patterns. Over time, it evolved into something more, something undeniable. Officers who wore badges but moved like predators. Jasmine hunted them in silence. And when she got the footage on Officer Davenport, charming, press-hungry, dangerous, she didn't flinch. A janitor had found a flash drive under a bench. No note, just the words. He's hurting people. Stop him. The video showed Davenport slamming a teen into a patrol car. The boy screamed. Davenport laughed. Jasmine didn't sleep that night. She built the case with surgical precision. When Davenport fell, headlines exploded. He resigned in disgrace. No pension, no whispers of redemption. Jasmine didn't gloat. But in the courtroom, when she met the boy's mother's eyes, full of disbelief and grief, she nodded. She had kept the promise, but it came at a price. Tires slashed. Threats. Whispers behind her back. The cleaner, some muttered. She preferred the reckoning. Her silence terrified them more than shouting ever could. She knew Maddox before she ever pulled Jasmine over. She'd been watching her for months. Complaints swept aside. Body cam footage mysteriously missing. Too many uncooperative suspects who looked like Jasmine. That traffic stop wasn't coincidence. The IT was the final page of a case file Jasmine had spent a year building. She hadn't baited Maddox. Maddox had walked in her own trap, and now, as the Internal Affairs SUV drove Maddox away, Jasmine sat alone in her car. She reached into the glove compartment, not for documents, but for the folded letter she kept tucked behind the manual. Her father's handwriting, faded with time. Justice has to be louder than hate. Make sure it is, baby girl. She stared at it for a moment, then placed it back and started the engine, because there were still names on her list, and she wasn't done yet.